All right. Okay, so sorry about that. About that. Okay, let me know when and if it comes back. Okay. Weird. I recorded all of that, so I can maybe figure out how to paste that onto the front end of it if we need to. All right. Well, very strange. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ivy, for that notice. Keep me honest if you guys see that go down. Again, we'll see if maybe Twitch or something is having problems today. All right. So your quarters are over here in this building here, and you have a house staff of 3. You have a cook, a chambermaid, and a head butler. And your living quarters are a huge suite. There's a full kitchen and then a common area where you all can come together, a dining area and a relaxation or kind of like a living room area. We might think of it in the US. Then there are large suites, 5 or 6 large suites off of this main area, and each one of them has its own large bedroom, very comfortable, nice large bed there, and a private boudoir. So you have your own powder room, your own bath with running water that you can get hot and cold running water, and you can either soak or you can shower or you can do whatever you wish in terms of cleaning at the beginning and or the end of the day, as your custom would dictate. And there's large armoires with that you can put your belongings in for now, and depending on what kind of diplomatic functions you all are asked to attend, you may wind up with a considerably larger wardrobe by the time you leave Ravnica, or you can just leave stuff here until the next time you're back. I think probably Galibar and Oyo probably have a few things that are here from when they were here before. They have been watched over by the staff, even if all you did was leave some of the fancy clothes that you didn't think you'd need. Those are still here and in their place. The towers hold the 3 different branches of the Azorius Senate. They also hold all of the lobbying efforts for the different guilds. And the last time the party was here, they met with different guild representatives in their offices. And so there may be some of that happens here again. Precinct 3 up here, Area 8, that is kind of the domain of the Selesnya Conclave. They pretty much are in charge up there. There is a world tree up there. There's a lot of green space. There are habitats in here for all kinds of animals that have been native to the world that Ravnica lives or is built on, but the outside is now not hospitable for or conducive for the survival of those animals, so they have habitats here for them in this area. Precinct 4 is an industrial area, and up at the very north of Precinct 4, you'll see it looks like there's a lot of ruins. Well, that's because it borders on what they call the Rubble Belt, which is part of the area outside the city proper and is the domain of the Gruul clans, whom everybody except the Gruul clans will tell you they only exist to destroy and tear down all of the good things that everybody else has done. The Gruul clans will tell you they exist to try to remove the blight that the rest of the guilds have put on the face of Ravnica. Precinct 5 over here, far, far, far to the west, is this is the area where the greatest universities are. There's also an enormous sinkhole that is there, and way down at the bottom of this sinkhole, some 500 feet below, is actually salt water, as though there's some sort of underground ocean or something down there. And then there's, various other things. Precinct 1 is probably the glitzy, glamorous, it's the high-rise, ritzy entertainment district that serves the needs of basically everybody who works in Precinct 2. And a lot of the super wealthy people that work in Precinct 2 live in Precinct 1. So yeah. We will probably talk more about those precincts as we go along. But that is sort of an orientation to the city. And most of our dealings, at least for the beginning of the session, will be confined over here to Precinct 2. So there are maps. These are also out of the Guildmaster's Guide. There are maps in that resource that talk about some of the areas within each precinct. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about those unless it's someplace that somebody is going in particular. I will just leave that up to you. If you have questions about something specific, we'll probably handle most of those offline unless there comes to be a reason that we need to focus on a particular area. So, who is feeling like they would be interested in kind of leading off the session today in terms of talking to their contacts or doing something? Or does everybody want to talk together as a group first?
So I know what I want to do today, but I'll need some help.
Gee, I wonder whose help that's going to be.
Well, preferably more than one person. Because I wanted to do two things. The first thing is get a bag of holding for myself. And the second thing is to gather up the people who are interested in helping him in going to the library, to help with him.
Well, if you can wait until Adamant has a frank discussion with Lefram, and he can help in the library.
I have to go get the bag of holding first. So I was figuring I could go do that while you guys are going to do other things. Meet up.
Okay, and I saw your question in the Discord, Chris, and to give you a quick answer on that, the bag of holding is the same price. You can find it for the same price here.
Okay.
So you may go to some place that is like the Prada bag store, and the Prada bag of holding would be more expensive. But if, first of all, I don't know that Galibar is always too interested in making fashion statements. If he just wants something serviceable and durable and of good quality, there are plenty of merchants you can go to and find it for the regular price.
Yeah,
So
he'll do that. He makes his own fashion,
mm-hmm.
like out of medical scale.
And yes, this is still D&D, so you are still limited to the tier of magic items that you can have. You're tier 2, so that means you can have rare, uncommon, or common items. You will not be able to have very rare items until you hit level 11, even if you can afford them. That's just a mechanical thing of the game.
Okay.
To keep.
See, I guess I'll go do that. Well, everybody else is doing their one thing, and I'll let you know if there's.
Okay. All right. Well then, since we are here, I will need to go ahead and open up these two files. And open. There we go. All right. So level 8. No, level 8. There we go. There we go. Okay. You guys have the first evening to yourselves. I think somebody had said something about having, a nice dinner. And when you get back to your quarters, you find that Briska the cook, Draven the head butler, and Lavinia the chambermaid are all just excited to see you. And Briska is just ever so excited to find out what you might have a hankering for, and she is very ready to prepare a wonderful meal for you. She is a little bit sad that Lady Xandri is not with you, and of course they haven't seen much of Thardrum since he dedicated himself to a scholarly life over at one of the universities, and they're sorry that they didn't get a chance to get more acquainted with Jerry while he was with you, but they are very excited to meet Eric and Elora. And so Draven the butler, he will take Eric and Elora around and show them into the diplomatic quarters. He will say, "Sir, here is your suite. I think you will find this this accommodation to your liking. We have a Ravnican king-size bed in here for you. And through those doors over there, you will find the boudoir. There is a large tub where you can draw water for a hot bath if you wish, or you can simply shower if that is more to your liking. There are also some controls where you can have the water pulsate in jets that can have a rather therapeutic heat that is circulated through the water. And my lady, these are your quarters here, and he shows you similar bed furniture and a large boudoir or bathroom, as you might say, for your needs, including a large tub that will accommodate showers or acts kind of like a therapeutic spa or hot tub, if you will. And so he gets you all settled. And he's very fastidious gentleman that wants to try to hang up your clothes for you. If you insist on doing so yourself, he won't get in the way. But if you ever leave anything unattended, he will be right there trying to tidy things up. And similarly, Lavinia, the chambermaid, she's all about seeing if there's anything that you need, things that you would need to have her bring for you, those types of things. And the cook is busy in the kitchen. They will let you, they'll go ahead and prepare the meal for you. There's some drinks after dinner. And let me see. I saw a couple of comments over here. Okay. Question. Okay. Oh, yes. Elora and Ivy, to answer your question, think of it as like a, believe some modern dormitory housing is like this, where each student has their own bedroom, but then there's like a common living area that the doors are all off of that same common space. And so, yes, you come out of your door and you walk into the main living room area, which is the living area, the dining room, and the kitchen are all in that central shared space. And then your room, right next door to your room, the next door down, is the room for one of the others. So, and those are kind of around on two sides. And then there's one side of that central area that has a large window that looks out over the city. And one of the things that, yes, Oyohusa, you recognize, it's not long after you all are in there, kind of as the sun is setting, you recognize a familiar shape that you see perched on the side of one of the buildings, not too far away. There is a large human-sized insect that appears to just be sitting there on the wall. Then you have no doubt it's probably watching your quarters.
Oh man.
Yes. Yes, it doesn't take long for the news to get around that, oh, hey, somebody's back. All right. So the next morning, you all will get a summons. Well, it's not a summons, it's an invitation. Let's put it that way. You all will get an invitation from the from Senator Gallia and General Blaze. And the person who delivers the invitation is none other than your former adventuring companion on your journey to Chult, Chandler Duran. He brings over an invitation that's in a very nice cream-colored envelope with a seal that has the seal of the Azorius Senate on it. And he says, "Oh, hello, friends. How are you? Where's Lady Sandry?"
Lady Xandri got recruited by a celestial being to do another job. She had
my goodness!
It was a strong calling, and the Lady Xandri cannot avoid going on a strong call. So she did what she had to do.
Well, of course. And wasn't there a halfling with you, Jerry? I believe.
Jerry is no longer with us. We're not sure where Jerry went, but he is Jerry, and we are used to that.
Yes, I seem to remember the general getting some reports about him. He thought, since Jerry came from your plane, that sending him with you would be about the best way of keeping him in line, but apparently not even the prospect of spending time with companions from his home world was enough for him. Oh well, we can only hope that he is well wherever he is.
Yes, but
My lord, my lady, and he says, my lady, I hope you won't mind my saying, you look very fetching in that outfit. It's a pleasure to meet you. And he bows very formally to both Eric and Elora. And Chandler Duran is a human. He is very obviously a soldier, has that bearing of someone who's a soldier. He is, you guys who have met him before, it looks like he has probably at least one more stripe of rank or something on his uniform now than he did when you first met him. Apparently his time with you made good impressions with the brass higher up, and so he may have been promoted in the time since you saw him before. And he says he hands over this invitation to whomever wants to take it.
Adamant will take it off his hands.
Okay, you gonna open it?
Yep, he opens it up and reads it over.
Okay. It basically says, ambassadors from Toril, we are very pleased with your success in your successful journey to Innistrad. We would invite you to join us for a debriefing this afternoon at 4:00 New Prav time, and discuss the highlights of your journey to Ravnica, or your highlights of your journey to Innistrad, and the items that you were able to procure there based on your mission. And we also would be interested in any strategic information you can tell us about the plane of Innistrad. and it is signed in triplicate. It's signed by Senator Gallia herself. It's also signed by General Blaze, and it is signed by Arcanum Engineer Xander, who is the gnome that you all met back in Waterdeep. The gnome with whom the Blackstaff seem to have such a rapport, talking about all kinds of very interesting arcane things.
All right. So, does it say what time?
Yeah, 4 p.m. Ravnica or New Prov time.
All right, 4 p.m. That gives me time to go pay a visit to the Izzet.
Yes. Yes, you can do that.
Oh, I found something that I think belongs to them. I'm going to open it first because it's a puzzle, and I like to solve puzzles.
Okay. I believe last time when you teleported in last session, I believe that they recommended that you
Yeah,
go to a lab to open that.
that's what he means.
Oh,
He's
okay.
going to give it to him, but he's going to open it first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
But first, I need to go. If you don't mind, I'm going to give this note to Oyohusa here. I need to go have a talk with a new friend.
Oh, of course. Well, it's a pleasure seeing you all. I will be back at around 3:30, and I will accompany you all over to the meeting.
All right, I will see you then, Jim.
Okay. And he takes his leave. He bids you all good day, and he does that sort of crisp military spin on one heel and one toe, and walks off back down the hall to the bank of what you all have come to know are elevators that will take him all the way back down to the ground floor. All right. So, Adamant.
Yes.
Sounds like you are the most eager to get going.
He is
So,
going to
what
take
will you do first?
He's going to take Lephram into his room, set up the
Okay.
mirror, and hold the shield up. Here we are, Lephram, in front of a mirror.
Why, yes, I can see that.
I am Adamant, a very large metal man.
So tell me, Adamant, you say that you were created by.
Yes.
Tell me, what was this process? Did you have any awareness during this process, or were you only aware once your construction was complete?
Once my construction was complete.
Very interesting. Well, of course, now, this is a question that is of a personal curiosity to myself. So please indulge an old dwarf. Ha 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 ha. But were you conscious or sentient prior to being in this form here? Was there some sort of transference of your essence or intellect, or, if you will, soul into this construct, or does your recollection begin with this form that you have?
It begins with this form. I have read Bilgar's notes, though, and he was working on the enchantments as long as he was working on the armor. He'd work on the form for a bit, and then he'd work on the spirit. It's a complicated process that he did.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, you see, my story is a little bit different. Of course, I was born as a flesh and blood dwarf, made of the same stuff as the very mountains that Moradin formed the crust of the universe with, as you will. And I grew up with a dwarven mommy and a dwarven daddy, and I became a dwarven warrior, and some call me a hero, although the exploits that I am known for, there are so many whose names are unsung that were part of those. They deserve at least as much credit as I do for them. But anyway, at the end of a long and illustrious career, I was struck down in a battle, a fierce battle, against very hated enemies of Moradin himself. And I knew nothing for a long time. And it seemed to me that, well, I had always heard stories about the afterlife, and from my experience, it was rather boring. Until suddenly, I became conscious again. Except I was in this shield. And I came to understand it was by the will of Moradin himself that I had come to be in this shield. Now, he did not give me any instructions, and I did not have any audience with him, and I don't know whether this is his idea of a practical joke or a reward. But everything was quite good for a time when I was with a Planeswalker and traveling to different realms that I had never even dreamed existed. But then he died, and he was on that accursed plane of Innistrad, and he was thrown into a tomb by those followers of Avacyn. And it must have been centuries that I was there, just next to moldering bones, gathering dust. I was practically going mad. And then I was rescued. And I knew that the child of Bilgar would be the one that would save me from that purgatory. And so here you are. Here you are.
Not what you expected, yes?
No, the voice which I took to possibly be the voice of perhaps Moradin, perhaps one of the other deities of the Dwarven Pantheon, said that my rescue would come from the child of Bilgar. So naturally, I presumed a living, breathing dwarf. But perhaps this is yet again another one of Moradin's jests. But I think it a pleasant one.
Well, hopefully you, after seeing my difference in size, you understand the lack of dwarven tactics, yes?
Yes. Well, you cannot deny that the dwarves are the fiercest and best fighters in all of the multiverse. So I will continue offering advice as I see fit, but I will try to temper it by taking your size and your strength and your construction into account.
I will appreciate any advice you can give.
Very good. And I appreciate the chance to go beyond that damnable tomb and see more planes of the multiverse. Tell me something of your adventures, Adamant.
Well, there was the time that we fought the Red Dragon and Jacinda was kidnapped. That went
Oh, you fought a red dragon. Oh, and you are still in one piece to tell about it. Ah, that's very good. That's very good.
We liberated a mountain that was stolen from the dwarves of Cholt.
Oh, you liberated a you liberated a mountain. Tell me, is this a mountain that contains a mine or a treasury of precious jewels?
Both. The treasury belonged to an ancient golden dragon named Ornak.
Oh.
He he was quite pleased to be able to claim his treasures again.
Oh, yes, yes. So you actually fought alongside a gold dragon.
Yes.
Oh, Adamant, now that is a rare treat indeed. Dwarves would give 100 years off of their life to stand side by side with a gold dragon in battle. Oh, how glorious, how glorious. Just to behold the treasury of one of those magnificent beasts.
Oh, we dared not touch the treasury. Yeah.
Oh, no. No. You are right there. You are right there.
Now, I have questions for you, my friend.
Oh, of course.
I am working on a project.
A project.
A project with the with the Gondite Temple and the Temple of Aradin. They are working together with me.
Whoa. The gnomes who follow Gond and the dwarves who follow Moradin are working together?
Yes.
What sort of blasphemy is this?
I saw something one day and it gave me ideas. And I need the help of both of their best minds. And he's gonna pull out the schematics he's been working on with them. And this is what we've been working on. I saw a shield guardian. And
Yes.
its weapons and its shields are retractable.
Retractable.
So we've been trying to work on a way to make it possible for me to retract a weapon and a shield into my arm. Tell me that how would you feel about this?
Well, clearly, if you wish a shield to be retractable into your arm, then I feel a bit insulted because it sounds like you will not be traveling with me. I thought that I
No,
thought
no,
that the
no,
message
no.
from.
What I meant was, how would you feel about you being that shield and being attached permanently? I have no end to my lifespan unless something would happen to me.
Well, a permanent attachment is one thing. And that, once I get to know your character, I could perhaps abide that. But I don't quite think you understand. If my sense of this vessel that I inhabit now is accurate, I believe it may have been wrought at a divine forge. I'm not sure that it would be wise or even possible to try to modify it in any way.
Hmm.
Certainly, it might be considered an insult to the gods that your creator worshipped.
Yes, you are correct. But you saying that also tells me that I should probably take you to the Temple of Moradin when we return.
Oh, I would be honored to visit the Temple of Moradin and talk to the clergy. And if you insist, perhaps I could.
I will not do anything
Perhaps
with you that you are not comfortable.
Well, they may have some ideas that can bridge the gap from what you are seeking and what I think might be permissible.
We will see what happens, but as I said, nothing will happen that you are uncomfortable with.
Oh, well, now that's a good mark in your favor, Adamant. A good mark, a good mark. So, did I understand that you all are to be guests at some diplomatic function later today?
Yes. It's not something I enjoy, and I apparently am not very diplomatic.
Well, let me see the mirror again.
He lifts him up to the mirror again.
Okay. Turn me a little bit. No, the other way. The other way. Oh, now, if you'll notice, 4 inches from the top rim and approximately 2/3 of the way across from the left, there appears to be a few smudge marks. I think you might need to start polishing. I cannot be looking bad if we are going to be presenting ourselves before diplomats.
Of course.
I think you have some work to do.
Indeed,
And
I will do this before we go see the Izzet League. On that note, before I start doing this, the Izzet League is run by gnomes and goblins.
Gnomes and goblins?
They're
Wait, they work side by side?
yes. The goblins are trying to prove that not all goblins are bad. And they're all bits of.
And I suppose the next thing they will do is try to prove that not all water is wet.
They seem quite alright. Just. They like things that go boom. So.
Well, I generally like making goblins go boom.
They don't need any help there.
Well, perhaps. This This is very strange. What did you say the name of this place is? I've never heard of a place
It's
like
the
this.
Is It League. It's
No.
run by a dragon.
A dragon.
I've not met him. Perhaps one day. But this is Ravnica as a whole.
Ravnica. Ravnica. It sounds like a absolute place of marvels. Well, come on then. Let's go over by the window. I will allow you to give me a good polish, and I will ask you about the things that I see outside.
All right.
Okay, so he does that. We're going to go ahead and let that stuff all happen off screen. And then we will...
I would like to see somebody roleplay that once. Yeah. I polish. Roll to polish. I polish.
Galibar, I sent you. I know. Galibond, I sent you the list of magic.
Okay. All right. Oh, I see. Just preserving. Okay. All right. Yes. You can find all of those, and I will either at the break or after the session, I will figure out the prices for those things that we don't have. We don't have there. Or maybe if we do, if several people go shopping, I will look for all of the prices of all the items at the same time. For right now, I'm going to take these and put these in the magic item pricing channel.
Oh,
so
one of them is a surprise gift. So.
Oh, okay. Well then. Oh, okay. All right, then I will leave that one off of the list. Thank you for letting me know. And that way, when we start looking up prices, we will see. I'll be able to put those all in for what they are. Okay. Who would like to be next with something? All right. Okay. Oyohusa. All right. There's some time that you have after breakfast and through the middle of the day, and Oyohusa, I think, is probably someone who goes out to stretch his legs from time to time and just sort of looking around and whatnot. Would that be accurate? Might you go for a walkabout in town?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So let's say while you are out, your footsteps lead you someplace that is a little bit familiar to you. You look up and you see the marquee for a bar called the Propaganda Lagoon. And you recall that when you were here before, there was a very talented elf that played the piano there. And they called her Lady Vezka, the Ivory Whisperer. That was in the evening. It's now about midday, and as you see the sign, you notice your stomach gives a little rumble, like, oh, maybe it's time for lunch. And whether you meant to or not, you find your feet are taking you over towards the
Propaganda Lagoon, and you soon find yourself seated at the bar. And there's a human behind the bar, and there are, there's kind of a decent lunch crowd in here today. And the human says, "Hey, what do you have?"
What is today's special?
Oh, we have very delicious. We have some very delicious sandwiches, and made with. They're not terribly exotic. They're made with turkey, and they're made with some fresh vegetables, and we have our own house spicy mayonnaise that really serves to set them off. They're quite popular as a lunch special.
That would be fine. And
Oh,
I would like a glass of unsweet tea, please.
oh, unsweet tea. Okay, well, we can get that in for you. The name's Lanos. Just let me know if you need anything. And he sets a little napkin down and a little coaster down, and he scratches something down on a pad and takes it over and clips it on a little line, and he slides it through a little window into a back area where you can see that there's people like back there preparing food and whatnot. And as you look around, you suddenly notice a couple at a table over there, and they appear to be having lunch. Both of them look elvish, but then as you kind of notice them, the man raises a hand and calls for a waiter. And as he turns his head, there's something about his face that's a little bit too angular. It's almost unsettling how angular his features are, especially with his cheeks and nose and chin. And his eyes are very deep set, and they're extremely dark, almost black. He seems to smile pleasantly and speaks cordially to the waiter. He doesn't raise his voice or anything. But after whatever the exchange is that the two have, the waiter just seems a little unsettled and hurries away from the table. And that's when you notice the woman sitting at the table. And she is looking at you. Well, I guess it's not really.
Oh, you cut out on me.
I think he's entirely cut out.
Maybe.
This is probably the normal sort of cutting out that he does. So.
Stand by, everyone. I'm sure he'll come back.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Sorry about that. My Wi-Fi just went beep.
The normal one. Yes.
It's all right. All right, so I noticed she's looking at me, and
Okay, you know okay. What was the last thing you heard, I should say?
I just said it.
Okay. when she notices that you have seen her looking at you. A smile plays over her features. She coyly bites her lip and shyly turns her emerald green eyes away from you, letting her auburn tresses fall back across her cheek.
What kind of clothing is she wearing? She's got anything distinctive?
Both of them are very finely dressed, and they're dressed elegantly, not ostentatiously, but you would bet platinum to donuts that that their clothes were tailored and of the finest materials available. They just kind of have that look of very sophisticated people. Both he and she do. And while you are thinking about this, you notice a presence on your other side. And as you turn your head, you see that a stunningly beautiful drow woman has sat down at the bar next to you. She says, "Hello, I'm Bethry. Good to see you here."
Good afternoon. Have you come for lunch?
"Oh, I have come for lunch and for some business. And I understand that you have recently returned to the city from a business trip of your own."
Oh, have you? And
Oh.
where did you hear this information?
"Oh, my friend, I think you'll find that you and I both have some contacts in common, but let's not speak of that now. I'm just curious. Did you acquire anything interesting on your travels?"
Well, that is a very open question, but yes, I did.
Okay, and you notice that the bartender has brought over like some in this bar, instead of like having peanuts, they have like little wafers, kind of like crackers. They're very, very nice little, like what you might call water crackers or something like that you would find in the supermarket, but they're very, very thin and light and crispy. And she picks one up, and you kind of notice her observing out of the corners of her eyes. And at a moment, she just holds one up ostentatiously, where you can clearly see it. And as you observe it, you see the symbol of House Demir. The sigil of House Demir appears on the wafer. And then as soon as she's registered that you have seen that, she just pops the wafer in her mouth and she eats it.
I'm glad that you have found me today. I wished not to eat by myself. And I offer half of my sandwich.
And she says, "Oh, you are as gallant as they say you are. But really, I have several items on my agenda." She says, "Oh, I think your hair is a little out of place." And she leans in very close to you, and you almost think that she's about to kiss you on the cheek. And she puts one hand up by your hair and just sort of brushes your hair back. Her other hand finds your palm and presses a small piece of paper into your palm. And she just, strokes your hair and says, "Oh yes, that looks much better." And then she just holds there for a moment, and she says, "I have another job to do. Please make the next few seconds as convincing as you can." And immediately her fingers stop stroking your hair, and she just pushes back away from you. And this look of outrage crosses her face. And she says, "What? I will most certainly not be doing that with you or anyone else for that matter, you disgusting creep." And then she slaps you across the face. And it's one of those slaps that sounds super loud, but it's actually delivered in such a way that it hardly even stings. She's very, very precise about how she delivers this. And then she pushes herself away from you and off of her chair, and she bumps right into the path of a very well-dressed human, male, who appears like he's been having quite a bit to drink with his lunch, and clatters into him hard enough to nearly knock him to the ground. And she deftly sort of keeps him from falling, and she starts saying, "Oh, that creep was treating me so badly," and she positions herself on the other side of the man from you. "Oh, please, sir, help me get outside and away from this awful, awful man." And the fellow is like, "Oh, my dear, yes." And he says, I'll be glad to protect you," and kind of, puffs his chest up a little bit. And he turns to you, and his eyes kind of are having trouble sort of focusing on you. And he says, "Now listen here, pal. My name's Tragori Barra, and I'm going to take this lady outside, and you better just sit there if you know what's good for you." And then he turns back to her and he says, "Come on, my dear, let's go." And he starts to lead her outside, and as they walk away, you can hear, when they get just a few steps away, you can hear Bethry say, "Oh, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. My name is Shalina. How can I ever help? How can I ever thank you?" And it's kind of clear the way he perks up that he, even through his, booze-addled brain, he's starting to have some idea of what she might do to thank him. And they go on and they step outside. That whole incident takes just a few seconds, and it seems to mostly go unnoticed, except when you catch a glimpse of the elf woman with the emerald eyes and the auburn hair. She's still sitting there with the man with the angular face, and now she is gazing at you with a decidedly predatory look in her eyes.
I pretend that I don't notice, and I'll look at what the note says while speaking to the, I guess the guy behind the counter, and be like, "Well," and he'll say, "I don't think she likes the special."
And he says, "Oh, she's she's a woman of very discriminating tastes. And he says, "How is your tea?"
Not bad. I like it very much. You
Oh,
know
good.
this woman?
Well, let's just say I've seen her face in here before.
Now, he's the one that gave her one of the wafers, right?
He set the wafers out, and you can tell that there are there's still a plate of some of those wafers sitting in front of you, and there are plates of them spaced up and down the bar. And as you look at them, none of them have the sigil of House Demir on them.
Did I get the impression that that was some kind of illusionary magic and that he wasn't actually involved, or?
Give me an Arcana check. See.
Oh, well, this couldn't go wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It probably was an illusion.
What does the note say?
The note contains a time and a date, which you work out is tomorrow, and it is early afternoon, like 1 p.m. tomorrow, and that gives a certain address in the second precinct, and it says to bring your find with you. And that let me just double check. Yep, that's all it says.
While I'm doing that, I'm gonna say to the guy behind the bar, I'll motion him closer, and I'll say, that woman behind me in the auburn hair with the exquisite emerald eyes, do you know who she is?
And he kind of does that sort of bartender thing. He looks around, while he's wiping a glass or something, and his eyes just kind of scan, and they briefly rest in that direction, and they keep scanning, and he says, "You are a sucker for trouble, aren't you? If I were you, I would just not even think about her."
Trust me, I was not going out of my way to catch her attention, but it seems that she is... Well, let's just say I have caught her fancy, no? And the gentleman with her is who?
Well, the gentleman with her is the reason that you don't want her attention. That's Onwet Kalok. He is one of the owners of this place, and he is very highly connected. He's very highly connected in the entertainment and hospitality industry, if you catch my drift.
You mean to say contractos, no?
Well, I don't know about cult, but yes, Rakdos, the organization. That man is her husband.
I see. Fate has its own sense of humor, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yes, it most definitely does.
And standing here behind this bar, oftentimes I get a front row seat to it all.
Indeed. Thank you for this nourishing lunch. And Oyo will pay the man and he will leave. And while he walks out, he'll give the slightest wink over to the lady with the auburn hair and emerald eyes as he leaves the establishment.
Give me I presume you want to do that stealthily, like in a way that you hope that only she notices it and that it's not noticed by other people.
Of course.
Okay, then give me a stealth check, if you will, please.
Oh, well.
Okay. Well, yeah, she notices, and you don't know if anybody else notices. All right. So that is that. All right. Bum-ba-dum-ba-dum. All right. Flashing back to the diplomatic quarters. Well, everybody is there in part of the day. Anybody want to do? Anyone to do anything there?
Yes, we're working on something.
Okay.
And I think
All right.
Galibar's got his bit also. Well, he's already established what he's doing.
Yeah, if you guys are going to go shopping like it said in the chat, we could probably meet up out there.
Okay, so
Because one of the
let me
places you
just-
guys are supposedly heading to is somewhere he would also.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because he has something special in mind.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Great. So you guys, we are going to have a shopping montage. Wonderful.
Actually, montage 1 would be walking down the street.
Okay. So
Because this is actually the most dramatic thing these two can do.
okay. All right. Well, then
Yeah. Adam
then
because have the desire to see this.
okay, because Adamant has some place to go
Yes.
as well, right? And Galibar has some place he wants to go as well, right? So we all have, and he's obviously interested in purchasing some things. So most everybody has a chance to, or has a reason to be out. Let's just say that as you guys are headed out, you pass by the facade of, what did I call it? You all pass by the facade of the Propaganda Lagoon as Oyohusa is emerging after lunch. So Oyo can fall in step with you, or he can just head back to the quarters, or he can choose not to, but that's up to him. We'll just say you guys see him coming out of there. You don't see him turning around and giving a wink to somebody, though. He does that well before he gets outside.
Oh. Well, then maybe, dearie, we should wait. We should wait for Griffey until after we walk. This little experiment must be pure. How far is Oyohusa down the street?
Well,
How far have they
consider-
walked at that point?
Oh, you guys have maybe walked a mile from your quarters.
Oh, okay.
By the
And
time-
So they met people that passed by, and they are just not. It's soft eye contact, if anything.
Correct. And let me see what is the. Okay, and yeah, actually, after about 7 blocks, as you all are walking along, you actually notice a group of people standing in front of some shop windows. There are 6 of them standing together, and they are pointing at something in the shop windows, and they are just having a conversation with each other. And the remarkable thing about it is that all 6 of them are drow.
Oh, that's interesting. Is that before or after Oyohusa?
Oh, that's before you get to Oyohusa.
So you noticed the drow looking at a shop window.
Yeah.
What type
Elora
of
will take her brother and point to the 6th drow in the window and say, "Brother, look!"
Yes, well, that's proof of concept, isn't it? Although I'm a little bit worried about approaching them.
I wouldn't be.
Why? Adamant, why are you here?
He said he was going with you. They gotta go that way to get to where he's going.
Go on, go. Well, it was rather important that we do this walk ourselves, at least up until we saw these drow. Okay, let's go see if we can blend in, I suppose.
You do that, and I will go where I need to go.
Good.
Don't get lost.
Oh, Adamant, I'm already lost.
Well, at least you're honest.
We got lost inside that room. I was waiting for the other 50 people that occupy that to come in.
But there's just us there.
Yes, I noticed. And I mean to ask you all about that later.
I will enter to the best of my abilities.
Yeah, Oyohusa's a little bit further down the road.
You enjoy your time.
Thank you very much.
Well, we can modify this a little bit and say that Oyo is maybe on his way back towards the quarters when he sees some of his companions there, and you guys would spy him coming down unless he's just trying to be stealthy, you guys would see him on the other side of the street.
When I don't want them, they're here. When I do want them, they're away.
Elora will smile and run up to Oyo just because she's so used to being out now. No one's looking at her, so she'll run up and try and tell Oyo the good news. Oyo, look! Do you see? As she'll look around and do a twirl.
What was it? What am I seeing?
No one's looking at me.
Well, now that she says that, there are a few people that are wondering, why is this woman just standing in the middle of the street and twirling around? And some of them look from her to Oyo, and they kind of smile as if they recognize, oh, okay, well, maybe these two can fight him or something.
Yes, Ivy, I see. You look happy today.
Elora.
You see ivy? Where's it?
Sorry,
Shouldn't
Elora.
be any growing around here.
Damn, only if I was in D&D world. Yeesh.
So Laura has picked up on she's a normal girl here. Eric is still suspicious, but that makes
Yes.
Where are you all headed? Do you have plans for the afternoon?
Oh, yes, very much. Brother said he was going to take me shopping. Isn't that so exciting?
The markets here are quite exquisite, yes. Quite the experience.
Oh, but, question. Do I really look that bad in my clothing? She'll, like, pull out her pants and her shirt and huff a bit, like, still in defense, saying that she doesn't need new clothes, but...
Elora, I think that perhaps you need clothing that matches your natural beauty, no?
She'll turn over to her brother and then, like, Eric, hurry up!
Well, I'm looking at whatever this is. he's trying to look at whatever could possibly be interesting to Six Straws.
Oh, well, it is, now that you mention it, it is a shop that sells, it appears to be a shop that is a floral shop. And it's got flower arrangements in there. And as you get... do you want to try to sort of hear part of their conversation without letting them know that you're listening to their conversation?
Maybe, but the first thing is, are there males in the crowd, or are these all females?
Oh, no, there's like, okay, give me a perception check. There are males and females, but give me a perception check. So let's see what you can pick up on.
Good core.
Oh, very good. Okay, there are 2 males and 4 females. And from the way that they are all acting, the body language that is being exhibited, it's clear that each of the males is either, married to or in a committed relationship with one of the females, and that one of the females that is in a relationship with one of the males probably has the other, let's see, what did I say? The other 2 women are her sisters. So, and they are all talking, and with that perception, it's clear that the women are having a bit of fun with the men, and one of them, who is the wife of one of the males, is saying, "Oh, yes, but dear, don't you think the stems of those daisies would look just so good woven through your hair?" And then her sisters just all fall out laughing at that joke, and the other one says, "Well, I think that those rosebuds would just look so marvelous in my husband's hair." And then they all laugh again. They think this is very funny. And the men have this sort of long-suffering look drow males who are used to being browbeaten by the females in their lives, and these two kind of look, if anything, they look a little bit happy that having their wives or girlfriends talk about weaving flowers through their hair is probably the worst they have to put up with, and they don't have to worry about their wives deciding it's time to sacrifice them to Lolth.
Eric turns around to Elora and whispers, "They're acting like humans. All 6 of them are just acting like humans.
Well, what are they talking about?
Stupid things. Putting flowers in their hairs. They're teasing each other.
I would love to put flowers in your hair. And she'll go over to them, but like not submerge herself in the group, but look at what they're talking about.
Okay, yes, you see that there are a number of arrangements here, all of them very festive and very colorful flowers. Some of them, there's one large arrangement that mostly is daisies, so with the white petals and the yellow center of the flower. But it's interspersed with all kinds of other different colorful blue and yellow and red and green and purple flowers and some greenery that is in that arrangement. And then there's another arrangement that is looks like it's must be at least 100 little rosebuds that has all kinds of little things in it, like baby's breath and some other little lacy greenery, maybe some fine little ferns or something like that that's in there. And then there's some things that look like they're probably something like tulips that are just exploding with all different kinds of colors. And then there's things that look very festive, things that look like they would be appropriate for a somber occasion, something serious, a ritual type of occasion, or other things that scream party time, all kinds of stuff.
I have a question. What was that lady's name again that slapped me? Or at least the name she used?
The name she gave you was Bethry.
Did Bethry leave a mark on my face, or was it a very skilled attack? That's what I thought.
It's very skilled. It didn't. It wouldn't even leave a welt, and
Okay.
it definitely wouldn't leave a mark. But it was the kind of thing that was meant to sound like a serious slap.
Come, my friends, I show you towards the markets.
Good idea. He says, shying away from Laura's comment about.
Yeah.
I don't think they do that here a lot. I think that they're human. They act like humans. They make corsage.
Well, it's more of a reason to fit in, as she'll craft a rose in her hand and then give it to her brother, almost asking permission before she can just shove it in his hair.
Not the hair. You put it in your shirt like this.
And the when you just spontaneously create a give me well, Ivy, tell me, how would Elora do that? Would she just kind of be overcome and do that, just like not thinking, right in the middle of the street there?
Yeah, she wouldn't really think twice about it. She would just,
Okay. Then I'll say that one of the drow women will notice her just doing that and putting it in Eric's hair, and she will lean up and she will kiss her husband on the cheek, and she will say, "See, honey, doesn't it look wonderful? You would look great with that. Oh, come on, let's go in and buy some." And he's like, "Oh, honey, do we have to?" And all the girls just start laughing. They all think that's hilarious. And the other man just is hoping that his wife will kind of forget about him. But, you can see that she's kind of got an arm hooked around his, and the whole gaggle of them starts to push towards the door of the flower shop.
You just gave that guy business. Or the shop owner business.
But they said putting your hair, not on your shirt. And so Laura will huff and then go back and walk a little bit further ahead of her brother.
I think that. What's. Oyohusa, what are you doing? Well, at least you relax.
All right. So, you guys are headed to the market then? Is that what I'm...
Yeah, this is going toward the market at this point.
Yeah, we're kind of taking the stroll, and I'm like, oh, that over there is blah blah blah, and that over there is that, and it's just kind of like giving them the tour, but we're just kind of leisurely strolling. Yeah.
Okay.
Letting them take in the sights and sounds of the city.
Elora,
trying to spot if elven people are wearing flowers in their hair.
Okay.
It's actually a thing.
Elora, Eric, and Galibar. Because I think Galibar is out walking with you guys as well.
No,
What?
Galibar's is in the clothing store right now.
Oh, okay. Galibar's in the clothing store. Okay.
Oh, it's in the clothing store.
So, Eric and Elora, please make perception checks for me. Adamant and Oyohusa do not need to do so. Okay. Elora, you notice something on a building about a block away. You notice a creature that looks a lot like a housefly, if a housefly were the size of your brother, that appears to have alighted on the side of one of the buildings and it just seems to be kind of observing what's happening on the street here. Adamant, you and Oyohusa, you automatically see that as well with your passive perception.
We'll stop in our path and then look right up at it and then just point towards it, not trying to be ignorant, but not knowing the best thing to do, and then turn to her brother and Oyo and everyone else is there, and it's like, am I delusional?
No, it is a normal occurrence. For us, at least.
Flies? Giant flies are a normal occurrence.
The best I can ascertain is that it is a form of security.
Housefly security?
I am not sure. I think that they are the eyes of perhaps the Azure Senate and or Zav or yeah, whatever. Did I say it right? And so
The Orzhov is
the Orzhov, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Azurius Senate, yeah.
Yeah, so Oyo kind of like fibs a little bit there.
So you're saying that this place is being attacked by some sort of honeybee?
No, I'm saying that I believe that the guild has its own form of surveillance.
Which guild?
I just said it.
So these are the police.
I'm not sure. No one really talks about it.
Which is probably why you came to that conclusion.
Yes, Eric, as you guys are having a conversation and you all are kind of looking up there, you do notice occasionally somebody who is walking along the street will see you guys looking up, and they'll kind of glance up, and then they notice that, and they just keep on going, and they kind of shake their heads a little bit. You can't tell whether they're shaking their head that they see another one of those creatures, or whether they're shaking their head that you all, are making a big deal about noticing it. That's harder to determine. But clearly they're not like terrorized or trying to hide or running away or anything like that. They just notice it and keep going on about their business.
At present, we're making a bigger scene by talking about it than it is being.
I would advise not to worry about such things unless it directly concerns you, no?
One can never tell what concerns. But it is not of the interest to those who shop for clothes. That I'm just...
And Oyo goes over to a fruit vendor as they make their way into the market, and he'll buy Elora a piece of fruit she's probably never had. And Elora, try this. I think you would like it. As we continue to walk through the market.
Okay.
Or we'll look at the fruit and say, the only thing you've ever given me is tea. What's this? And she'll try and like turn around and trying to investigate it. What fruit is it?
It's a persimmon.
Okay, even I don't know what a persimmon is. What?
Elora might know what a persimmon is. It's a thing you can get on groceries.
I have to look this up.
Yeah, they on the outside they look kind of like tomatoes. But I believe they're sweeter. I'm not sure. I don't know that I've
Looks
had.
very weird. What?
They are delicious.
She'll look at it, she'll look at her brother and turn to her brother and say, would you like a bite?
Yeah, should be fine. I assume they're selling these things to the rest of the that guy said.
This fruit
yeah.
hails from my homeland. Many persimmon trees grow.
Sure, can take a bite of the persimmon.
Okay.
Yes, yes, Eric, I'll take a bite of.
And Ken, if you will, describe the flavor for them. And you can describe it as accurately or as fancifully as you wish.
Like in character or just in general?
No, not in character, but
Okay.
so they get an idea of what their character would be tasting.
It's going to be a silky, slippery texture, and it tastes kind of the mix between a mango and a roasted sweet pepper with some cinnamon in the background. So they're going to be rich and tangy and sweet.
Okay.
By the description, Elora would not want to stop eating this and not share anymore with her brother. Is it really liquidy, like a mango, like it's gonna drip, or is it just?
Oh, it's very juicy. Yes.
Okay, well, she'll probably make a big mess out of it the first bite she takes too.
Well, what do you have in mind to buy at the market today?
Mr. Oyohusa, I thought that it would be best if we looked the part that you are being handed. Or perhaps. After all, we are not different. We are not much of anything but hangers on. And so, I thought it best for us to look in.
I thought perhaps I would buy something today if it catches my fancy, but I have nothing in particular in mind. Sometimes it's nice to get out early in the markets and enjoy the perusing of such products, no?
No, this is my first time. At least without a mask on.
Did you not have flea markets in Ravnica?
Shall we review this point? Eric Delip has never seen. In fact, let's make this up. Eric Delip has never seen an
You're clipping a little bit. Vern.
Eric Delapane was never seen in Innistrad. The bellman was. The bellman went to the market on occasion, only when necessary. You know Eric Delapane, the writer or the bellman, who is currently in Innistrad. See? To your point, I can't say I did any pleasure walking. Ever.
What's Elora look like? I just picture like her face. She's got like persimmon on her lips.
She'll have her two hands cupping the fruit with it just shoved into her face, almost like trying to hide it as she finishes the fruit, and it's just dripping from like her cheekbones all the way down. Like she did not know how to eat this, so she just dived all the way in. But she'll have a smile on her face, like so innocently, not even realizing how much of a mess she created.
And if you all are still near the fruit stand, the fruit vendor will smile at your group and will wink at whoever's eye he catches and say, "Another satisfied customer."
Laura, it's a wonderful fruit. But snaps his finger and cleans her up.
Prestidigitation.
Yes.
Okay.
The most useful spell in D&D.
Absolutely one of the most useful spells. You are absolutely right.
Back in the original version, we didn't have this and we didn't clean up anything.
Yep.
Neither did the people who played it.
Okay. So I have a list from Galibar, which is a magic item list. Do I have shopping lists from anybody else of what you guys are looking for, or is it something that we need to discuss, or are you just going to be buying stuff and I give you a moderate amount of money that you've spent to add whatever kinds of things you want to add to your...
Adamant, on his way through the market to the Izzet League, is going to try to find himself a axe that is comparable or better than what Macy's having, magical wise.
Okay, so the mace is what, a +1?
Yeah, the mace is a +1.
And you're looking, you say, for an axe?
A battle axe.
Right.
Yes.
A battle axe. Okay. Moradin allows you to have the battle axe.
Yeah, he got martial weapons through the.
Okay. Okay, that's right. Okay, so you would want like a +2 or better battle axe. Okay, go ahead and put that in a PM to me, and I see, or you can just drop it into the magic item pricing channel.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I see Ken has done that with something, so thank you.
To
I
your
will
point,
look that up.
first level spell scrolls to be added to a ritual casting book will be needed whenever I do the level up.
Okay, all right.
I just haven't had time for that. So it's like identify. It's like identify, find familiar, probably alarm. All the level 1 stuff. If they're all the same price, I probably won't get all the level 1s. Certain ones.
Yes,
Comprehend languages is needed.
Yes, Ivy. Let me double check because it does change sometimes from edition to edition. What is the exchange rate here? I think the... Oh, come on. I think the... I think the platinum is... what is it, 5 platinum to a gold in this edition, or is it 10 platinum to a gold?
It's still 10. It's still
10 platinum. Okay,
Yeah.
10 platinum to a gold. Yeah, everything is very simple, Ivy. 10 coppers to a silver, 10 silvers to a gold, 2 electrums to a gold, because electrum is half gold, half silver, and 10 golds to a platinum. So everything is 10, 10, 10, 10, except for electrum, which is 2 electrum to a gold, 5 silver to an electrum.
Electrum. It is absolutely necessary for us to have weird currency.
Yes.
Electrum. Weird as...
Okay, so we have that. All right. 4,000 gold is what that would be. All right. So I will go ahead and take a look for these items. Was there anything else that you guys wanted to do? And the reason I'm asking these questions is that we're getting kind of close to the top of the hour. So I'm thinking this might be a good time to go ahead and have a break. And then we can do our debrief meeting. And then we can do some of our other individual things that we wanted to do after the
There
debrief
was
meeting.
a scene I wanted Galibar to have with Elora
Okay.
and Eric.
Let's go ahead and do that before we have our break then.
Did they go into the clothing store or anything?
Clothing store.
Yes. To get the
Yes, we have to go to the clothing store to get the clothing store, and then you say you're now in the clothing store.
Yes. You would see him in there already. When you guys get there. Like he'll Galibar will turn around to see you, look a little surprised, as if he's been caught. You see, DM, was there a changing room inside the clothing store or no?
Oh, yes. Here in Ravnica, especially in this district, the clothing stores all have privacy areas where you can go and change and try on clothes. And if you come out, the sales staff will then give you an honest assessment of how the cloth hangs, how the garments hang on you, and where they might need a little bit of taking in or letting out or whatever.
Yeah, Galibar is wearing this vest because he can never wear something that covers up his arms. That looks like shimmering gold and silver dragon scales. Like they're actually shimmering. And he looks like he thinks for a second, then he'll walk over to you guys and say, "I've got a present for both of you." He'll hold out a box to Elora. It looks like it's about the size of a box that like a dress would be held in, or a piece of clothing. And he hands a longish, maybe about 1.5 foot long, thin box to Eric.
Before he passes the box, Toril will turn to him and say, "Well, don't you look ravishing?" As she likes the best thing that he's wearing. And then looking happily down at the present that he placed in her hands.
Yeah.
Curious.
I'm trying to post
curious.
a picture of what Galibar is giving Eric.
That
It is a wand of conducting.
that, sir, is delightful. That is both the smartest and most generous thing I've ever do, sir.
I know we might not have gotten along very well in the past. You're telling me to shut up and all that kind of things that you my nerves. So I figured maybe I could use this as a way to over now that we are not in.
I was not expecting such a magnanimous gesture from yourself, or such an insightful one.
If you don't know what a wand of conducting does, it has 3 charges, and while holding it, you can use an action to spend one of the charges to create orchestral music by waving it around. The music can be heard out to a range of 60. You stop waving.
That is perfect, sir.
Oh, and if if you expend the last charge, you roll a d20, and on a 1, a sad tuba sound plays as the wand.
That's amazing.
Does Elora open up the box?
She'll be like seeing Eric's present, and she'll turn to her and says, "Galibar, can I open mine yet?"
Yeah, open it, please.
And Laura will open up the present happily, trying to like do it and care.
It is a dress. If you were to take it out of the box, you would see that it appears to be made out of a mixture of dark blue and purple flower petals. And on the back is a pair of ethereal-looking butterfly wings that are flapping.
Oh, this just looks adorable.
And that is like the one Galibar is wearing, is an uncommon glamour. Uncommon glamour is it essentially an illusion is attached to it, and when you make a charisma, performance, or persuasion check wearing this, you can add a D4 the number rolled, and it's once per day. But since it's uncommon, the illusion is always there.
She'll turn to Galibar and say, "Can I put it on?" Then she'll turn to her brother, Can I?
There's a changing room over there.
And she'll turn to her brother, seeing for insurance if she could actually go on and put it on.
Yes, I believe it is safe. In fact, if he's buying women's clothes as gifts, then that is almost certainly, then that would indicate that these places are almost certainly safe to change.
Elora will run over to the dressing room and put it on before anyone else could say anything to her. Even the shopkeeper would probably give her a weird glare, just her racing over to the dressing room.
And you bought that for yourself. Is that what you intend to wear for the event? That sort of tails, that sort of flashy but formal look. Is that right?
Well, I wanted to. I'll be wearing this a lot until scales grow further. At least having just a patch of nothing, of no scales on my chest was starting to annoy me.
Indeed, but then I'm really asking with the point of tonight, because if it's not appropriate, we're going to have to get that dress off of her. And you really nailed it with that.
It's a pretty dress. I don't understand. Wear it.
Perfectly suited to her taste, but how are we going to get her into something else if, in fact, she needs to be in something else?
I don't know.
She'll
You're her
probably
brother.
want to keep in that thing for a life.
It has been my personal experience that one does not get in between a woman and her dress. I do not deem it wise.
For anything else, she'll come on out wearing it. She'll do a twirl with the brightest smile on her face. Look, it matches my eyes. Look. And she'll be so excited. She'll go over to Galibar, think for a moment, hesitate, and then jump up and hug onto him, kicking her feet happily.
He'll hesitate for a second, but then hug her back. His arms are pretty freaking large, so it's probably a little too tight, but he does hug her back.
Then she'll do more twirls and turn to her brother and pull out the skirt a bit. Is it like a long, like, train dress, or is it like short?
It goes a little past your.
Past what?
It goes a little past your.
Yeah, you keep clipping, Chris.
Can you hear me clearly now?
Yeah, but
Clarity
you need
was
to
fine.
speak up at the end, because we keep clipping the end
I'll
of your.
disconnect.
That's not what clipping is. Clipping is when when the sound is cut off by the machine itself. That's an actual sound term. You are cutting off too early.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Your clarity has been fine. It improved a little bit when you asked, but it wasn't the problem.
You're pausing in between your statements and it's cutting your mic off just ever so slightly.
Yeah. You might be losing volume and going just under, or you might be letting go of the button.
Okay. I said the dress goes a little bit below your knee.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
there we go.
It's made in a way not to restrict movement. So
Good. Bravo. Bravo, my dear. He gives her a stage kiss on both cheeks. And applauds.
Laura will be even more happy. Just going up to the shopkeeper announces, "How did he know my size?"
it's magic. It fits whoever.
Oh. Well, damn.
At this moment, Oyo realizes that he had forgotten. But at some point, he's going to have to deal with Rakdos while he's back.
Who?
This is a thought he's having.
Still who?
Oh, and Oyo if Oyo is with them, he'll see that Galibar is wearing
What are you wearing?
bracers of defense. Wearing bracers.
I see, Galibar, you have made a wise choice. And Oyo gently taps his bracers.
Yep. I saw they were so helpful on you, so I bought a pair for myself.
They will serve you well, my friend.
Sadly, I have to unattune my ring, but I can. When we're going to go fight the Gith, I can reattune.
What ring is that?
It's a ring of psychic resistance. So I couldn't. The Gith, with their psychic, their mind tricks, messed with me when we first fought them. I don't want that to happen again. So last time we were here, I got this ring.
Where did you pick up the ring, might I ask? I am looking possibly for a ring of free action. I think it would serve me well.
I get the name of the shop of wherever I got it.
Yeah, there's plenty of places around here. Well, within District 10, there's plenty of places there you can buy magical weapons, magical armor, magical utility items, or defensive, offensive items, all that kind of stuff. So, and I believe I have filled out everybody's shopping list in the magic item pricing. A few of the items I did a search for and found that we had priced them before, so I just put I copied the price from what we had before in there for you.
The scrolls.
Okay. Well, that's because you didn't put it in writing. That's why I didn't see it.
Right. Yeah, I'll get to that, but this week hasn't been a great week.
Yeah.
Extra time.
All right. Okay. Create. All right. Anything else that we want to do, or was this good for a break?
Well,
I'm good
the
for a break.
close.
Okay. All right. Well then, it's about 12 after. Let's go ahead. We'll call it quarter after. Let's come back at 25 after. That will give me a few minutes to look up some of that pricing on the scrolls and get that in there before we resume the game. Chat room, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today and putting up with our little technical issues earlier. We will be back with more of Ravnica Roulette after this break. I'm going to put on some music, and the players will either be here or step away players, if you're here, please feel free to interact with chat while we're on
course.
break. All right, everyone. I'll be back in a few minutes.
All right, sir.
And I shall be right back too.
Ditto.
I think I did pretty well with the gifts.
Yeah, I think having a ring of free action would be very useful for me. Considering one of the few things
was
that really
thinking of-
screw me over is paralyzation or restraint. Hey, Chris,
Yeah.
you're popping real bad. Mute yourself while you're messing with your mic.
Don't think there was a pop either.
Yeah, it was him just
Blow or
like,
shrug.
he was just like adjusting or playing with his mic, yeah.
Yeah, that's not what a pop is.
It's still popping the mic. I don't care what you say.
Well, not technically.
Bobbity, 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 bobbity.
Ooh, that's nice.
Well, that was me.
Is it back now?
Yeah, but I like the sound of that. That was Adamant, though.
No, it's just when you
talk
take your
again a little
headset
bit.
and put it back off. Yeah, it makes a lot of noise.
Yeah, that was happening because probably your headset was hitting something, possibly including your face.
Okay, I'll try to keep it steady now.
Is it on a headset or is it on a separate microphone?
It's on the cord.
Oh, it's one of those. Okay.
On a cord?
It's one of those ones that the microphone is on the cord.
Oh,
So
no.
it's getting his shirt or
Oh, you mean it's a tiny little thing that you string up to your clothes if you're gonna try to hold it, like I have for my action camera. Yeah, that one was almost certainly rubbing them.
Yeah, I'm holding it now, so hopefully it'll.
The new headset I picked up a couple of months back is just the boom mic just goes up and down, and it goes up into a storage position, but I had to put some effort into it, so it's not going to do anything accidentally. I can't smack it against my face or anything.
Oh, take a little bit of.
I'd have to take the headset off to do that one.
Well, that's what I mean. It would take a little bit of effort.
Ooh. Okay.
It's okay, Oyo. We mess with each other all the time. And she knows I'm not serious.
Most of the time.
I never say woman seriously. I know better. It's a good way to get on the couch. Oh, that's a pretty one. What level is that? Can I scope it from here?
Hello?
Hello?
Okay, it's working.
Hello?
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 I don't know why you say hello. I say goodbye.
Oh,
Hello, hello.
Ivy doesn't like goodbyes.
no, I don't like boys.
I got smacked for that. She smacked me in the shoulder for that.
What? Boys, see you later, because if Bri intends that you'll never see them again.
I made a joke yesterday during my game, and she was getting ready to head out to go get something for our daughter and bring it to her at work. And she had her cane in her hand. I made the joke, and she looked at me and then popped me in the shoulder with the cane, like, "No, bad."
What joke did you make? Like a bad joke?
I am chock full of bad jokes. It wasn't a hard pop. It's just like, boop.
Okay, so it wasn't a hurtful slap, but like, hey, watch it slap.
Yeah. I make those kinds of jokes all the time. And she's always on the receiving end of them. Like, you know, what do you call a pair of crows?
I don't know why.
An attempted murder.
Oh. I was about to say, I know a flock of crows is called a murder. It probably has something to do with that. But there's only two. So would that even count as a flock?
No. That's why it's an
No,
attempted murder.
That one I would chuckle at, then I would slap you. But yeah. No, I'm joking. I'm not abusive, I swear.
What's this?
Your bread and your spread.
Thank you, honey.
Where'd Galibar go?
What is it?
Where'd Galibar go?
Go.
Hasn't our break been over?
No, 2 more
It's
minutes.
25. Yeah. 25.
Oh.
He's looking up stuff anyway. He'll stop. He'll come back when he stops looking up stuff.
There's a story I like to tell. And it's a D&D story. I was making a monk, and we were told we could pick out a magic item. And I was going to look at quarterstaves, magical quarterstaves, and 5e doesn't have a lot of those, like at all. So I went into our little Discord chat with the group, and I said, magical quarterstaffs really got the short end of the stick.
Boom. Well, did he say your comment was rather stiff?
My wife's reaction was pretty stiff when it would have got down under what I did.
So that's the long and short of it.
That is the long and short of it, yes.
I mean, one of the best magic items in D&D can as a.
She's just taking your clarity. Yes, honey?
Should I be worried about the stories that you're telling?
No, why?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Because they're funny and corny.
They are not corny.
But they're funny.
And this is a reason to worry.
Yes.
I've been banned from playing Toril. I have in my character folder.
While we're on break, I should also mention before I forget, we should get something to deal with like arcane locks and stuff, some scrolls or something. In case we come up.
The Chime of Opening is a rare magic item.
I feel like scrolls would be good. We'd only need like maybe one or two, something that we'll get rid of that can unlock magical locks.
You mean knock?
Use yourself.
Hey, everybody.
I don't think we want knock. Knock lets people know that you have arrived.
All right. Vern, there's actually, when you get ready to go scribe the spells on the scrolls, just make sure that you log into the campaign in D&D Beyond, because there's a whole set of rules, including the time and the cost for scribing spell scrolls that's actually in the DMG, and it's in Xanathar's Guide to Everything, I should say. It has all of those rules in there. So you need to leave sufficient amount of time for it. You need to have sufficient gold for it. And the material cost includes the cost of the special paper and ink and everything that's required to scribe the spell.
Is that how ritual caster feat works? Written in a ritual book, when you choose this feat, you choose one of the classes. If you come across a spell, you might be able to add it to the spell must be the spell class you choose. The spell can be, the process of copying the spell into takes 2 hours per level of the spell and costs 50 gold points per level. This appears to be a different mechanic.
Okay, well, all right, because I heard you say writing spells on a scroll, and now you're talking about putting spells in a book.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, then you already have the rules. You don't need a pricing for it.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's right there.
Yeah, It's right there. So, all right, but I did put, for everybody else's benefit, I did put the rules for scribing a spell scroll, or the link to the rules for scribing a spell scroll, in the magic item pricing list. So if we ever need to create scrolls for the rest of the party of different spells, we now know how long it takes, how much resources cost, and all that.
Actually, I still need it. I need to come across it in written form. So I come across it in a scroll or a scroll.
So you need to go and purchase that. So that's what you need to do. Probably sometime during the rest of the session, figure out what spells you want
go into the magic item list on Discord and write down in there what scrolls you need to buy, and then I'll figure out where they are and what the cost is.
Do we actually need this during the session?
No, but put it in there so that by the time you need it, I will have been able to put it in there. It's best to do it while you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Except I'm trying to get work done today.
Okay. All right. Then as long as you remember, the point is, if you don't put it in there, I probably won't remember to look it up. So.
True that.
All right. So whenever you get around to it, if you don't need it today. All right. Let us get on with the rest of our session. Okay. So, as we've said before, the debriefing is going to happen at the offices of over in New Prod. You guys are able to get over there with Chandler's help. Actually, you all don't. You could find a way because you've been to these meeting rooms before, but it's one of these formalities where they like to feel important by sending somebody to lead you over. And you come into this large meeting room, and let me go ahead and put us back on the Roll20, and I will in fact go ahead and bring us to the office space. Some of you will recognize this room, or one very much like it. And then let's see. Okay. All right. And let's see. Let's go to our. Okay. Oops, somebody's got a awful electronic buzz in the background.
That's a garage door again.
Oh, okay. We'll get used to that by now.
Well, this week anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's been like, I don't know what she's doing, why she's coming and going. That's the only sound you get. So it's like, I would have muted for this purpose.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fiddle faddle. I've apparently gone and archived some things that I shouldn't have, and now I don't have time to go pull them back out. So let's just go with so we'll put the we'll put the senator there. We will put the I'll put whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. We'll put the general here. We'll put our little gnomish engineer here. Okay, and then you guys can grab your tokens and put them into place, and I may have to adjust. I may have to adjust some things. Okay, so that's Adamant. Okay, and then this is Laura. Okay. Okay. All right, and this is.
Ah! Fear me, for I am the giant bellman.
Yeah, that's what I was
Titans
worried
are
about.
attacking.
Yeah, I was worried that I might not have adjusted the size on that one. And then this is Xander. And then this is Blaze. Okay. All right. So, whoops. Oh, yeah. All right. And we can see, make sure we can see these. Engineer, Xander. And then, there we go. All right. And then, okay, we're missing somebody. So we'll just. Okay, so then. All right. Okay, so you guys are all seated around the table with the general, the senator, and the engineer. And the senator says, well, we were so very pleased to get your report that you had been successful in Innistrad. We simply must find out what how your task was accomplished. What sort of did you run into any difficulties, or was it a relatively straightforward retrieval?
Oyo speaks
Yeah.
up. It was not easy. There were many obstacles and challenges in our way. I do not like Innistrad. It's a very dark and hostile place.
And General Blaze kind of strokes his chin and he says, yes, our scouting reports had indicated it's a backward, irrelevant place. Better left forgotten. And the engineer kind of gives him a little bit of a look and scowls and says, well, I don't know. I mean, they have rich deposits of some very rare and incredible metals there. Maybe technologically they're a little bit backwards, but they've got some tremendous raw natural resources. Please, Mr. Oyohusa, tell us about some of the challenges. What types of things did you encounter as obstacles that were there?
There is many undead. It seems to be ruled secretly by a hierarchy of vampires. We did not get to the capital city, so I cannot say for sure their true structure of power, but there are werewolves, there are everything you can think of that goes bump in the night, whether it be in the woods or just generally on the side of the road.
Oh, that sounds absolutely horrible. So, tell me now, this is for the whole group. Do you think that the people there are, do they seem like they're happy living in the conditions that they are? Or do you think that they would be, that there's opportunities to help make their lives better?
They are a hardy people. They make do with what little safety they can get their hands on. He looks over at Eric. This gentleman and his sister are from there. They're more familiar, and they will be able to answer that question better than we can.
And upon that piece of news, the senator, she sort of perks up a little bit, and she looks between the two of you, and then she kind of does a double take, looking at Elora's dress, and she says, "Well, my dear, you look just exquisite. That is the height of fashion. You have such lovely taste in clothes." And then she says to both Eric and Elora, kind of shifting her gaze between the two of you, so you would be then ambassadors from the plane of Innistrad. Tell me a little bit about your home, if you can.
I'm afraid the senator is slightly misunderstanding the situation. There aren't many elves there to speak of in Innistrad proper. We had lived among them for a couple of years. That not open. No one has actually commissioned us for Innistrad, nor is Innistrad itself likely to try to send anybody to a delegation like this. The people are scared, wary of outsiders, because they constantly live in fear. They reach for hope. They can be helped. But the entire society is based on it. And thus, they are untrusting of anything that is new to see.
I see, yes. Well, it is as the engineer says. There's a great deal of opportunity, perhaps, for commerce and trade between our people and theirs. And it's quite possible, and she says, giving kind of a meaningful look at the general, it's quite possible that they could benefit from some military advisors that might help them against the particular problems that they deal with. It certainly sounds like the place is rife with dangers. Vampires and undead and lycanthropes. Oh, that's horrifying.
Not
Yes.
to mention the demon cults.
Yes. Bring lots of silver if you go there.
This is true. They are a extremely superstitious civilization, and their greatest hope is that when they die, they stay dead, which is a very gloomy outlook on life, no?
And the general says, "Wait, do you mean to tell me that somehow the state of the undead is a part of the nature of that plane?"
Unfortunately, due to the things that have been done there, their protector through through trickery and such, was corrupted, and now she is, instead of their protector, she's more of a tormentor.
It all boils down to demons. There was.
Yes.
Innistrad long ago, apparently, from what information I was able to gather, is a man interacted with a demon, powerful source. This man was given and transformed the power of vampirism. Then this man was overseen by such power that he spread his influence and this curse. But it became a ravishing hunger amongst his flock, that they fed upon the humans so recklessly that it threatened to
Eradicate them.
indeed. So he devised a plan, and he, in his infinite power of a sorts, he created something that would protect us and keep order. But demons, as you know, they are not easily swayed, and they have alternative motives. So this entity was corrupted. And now there is an extremely difficult power struggle between demons and the vampires of that realm.
Well, General Blaze has kind of been, you can tell he's been focused on Oyo's words, but he has sort of been looking down at his gauntlets, which he's taken his gauntlets off and has laid them there on the table. And while Oyo has been talking, he's sort of been, with a finger, he's sort of tracing a design on the back of his gauntlets. And you can see that the design is sort of a stylized form of an angel, which those of you who have been to Ravnica before, you'll recognize that as one of the Boros Legion sort of symbols. And he says, dealing with demons and vampires, I may know of something that can help to deal with those.
Well,
He says, kind of almost to himself.
There's another wrinkle as far as the demons are concerned.
Yes.
When we went to get the memory crystal, we had to go into a home, and there was it's where the demons worked at with their undead minions. And the leader there, who's not actually on that plane, mentioned that he was only acting on orders from his superior. And that, as far as they were concerned, the Gith were nothing but pawns.
Oh.
So it would seem this issue we have goes deeper than even the Gith with their dragon.
Indeed, perhaps we are dealing with, I don't know how to say, cosmic deities of great power. And I can tell you that the demons on Innistrad are different from demons, say, on the plane of even Ravnica or where we're from.
Oh, how so?
They seem to be of a different power structure. I do not know exactly. But what information we found, we understood it to be unique to Ravnica. Does that seem about right as I look over at Eric?
I was afraid you would ask me that. I can't compare these demons to demons from the plane of Waterdeep. You've certainly reacted as if they were different.
What was that demon's name? Cannot remember.
The one that I pissed off. I believe the term is.
I think he might be the other one.
Yeah. Oh, I muted myself. No, I didn't mute myself. Okay. Yeah, let me pull up that other document.
I don't think we got the name of the guy who punished Bazernak.
We heard it.
Okay. Are you looking for the guy that you saw in the smoke, or are you looking for the guy that you fought twice?
Yeah, we got his name, but I don't remember what it was.
Bazernak is the guy you fought twice.
Yeah,
Bazernak's the guy.
No. His boss, when we saw in the summoning chamber. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got his name. I could have sworn.
Yeah, okay. He introduced himself.
But he wouldn't tell us what his boss was.
Right.
Right. Okay. So go down to the dungeon level. Go down to the summoning room. Okay. And where was the ritual chamber? Okay. Okay. Yes. It called itself Codrul.
Codrul.
I'll put that in general. I think I put it in general, but I'll put it in general again. That's no problem. The demon from summoning room in estate cellar is Codrul. And go ahead and everybody roll me a... Gosh, it's not really history.
Religion.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody roll me a religion check, and I will see what information you guys remember from your conversation with him. Oh, wow. Few of you are paying really good attention. Okay. All right. So between Elora and Adamant and... well, Elora, were you at the summoning chamber when they found the smoke? I think you were.
Yes, you were with us.
Yeah, I think you were there. All right. Because that was after you guys got out of the prison cells. All right, so back to the document. Okay, it called itself Codrul, said it is known by several titles depending on the plane where it manifests. In Innistrad, they call its kind Balrogs. And on other planes, it is known as a Lord of the Pit. And Codrul claimed he is a general in his master's army on the plains where death and shadow reign. He also told you that that despite your efforts, you are doing his master's will. Now that you can pass along or not, that's up for you to decide. All of this is up for you to decide how much you tell the Ravnicans. Codril promised that this will not be the last time you meet him. And he said that your victory in Innistrad will be hollow, and that his master and his forces will prevail in the end. And he says he is not the only general to serve his master.
Yes.
But he never named his master.
Adamant would hold none of that information back. He is very fond of them knowing what the hell they're dealing with, because they don't.
Okay. As you reveal each of these nuggets of information, you can see the senator's eyes growing a little bit wider with each revelation. And you can see the general's face grows a little bit more grim with every revelation. And if anything, every time you have a new revelation, the gnome, at first he kind of fidgets a little bit, and then he pulls out a little scrap of paper and a quill from a pocket, and he does a little, what you figure is like a little cantrip, and a little bottle of ink appears, and he dips his quill and he starts making notes every time you mention something. And he's got a really there's almost an excited look in his eyes as you go on with each new pronouncement.
Now, we do have good news.
Yes.
Well.
I hope so, says the senator.
Oyo, may I see your bag?
What do you need out of it?
I was going to get the ingots out.
Well, I'll need to do that. And he slowly starts getting out the ingots that we were needed to go get.
Okay.
It was like 6 25-pound ingots, much more than they needed.
Yeah. Oyo pulls out several ingots of the metal in question. Now, Oyo, did you all at some point were you all planning to turn over the ingots of the other metals, at least to see at least one sample of each one, so that you could see what they could make out of those? Or
I think Daffy Duck said it best when he said, mine, it's all mine, mine. No.
Okay, so for right now, you're only dealing with the specific metal that you were sent to get.
Yes.
Okay, all right, sounds good. They look at that and they go, and the engineer, he says, "Oh my goodness, how did you get this in ingot form? This is amazing."
When we found the mine, there was already ingots made.
Oh, really?
Yes, and they are going to mine more for us, as well as other metals. We have asked them to set some to process some and set it aside for.
Oh, they are. Okay, so you've already made an initial step in terms of building some trade relations with the. This is wonderful. Look, what can you tell me about their mining technology? Are they still using like handheld picks and shovels?
No. Well, yes, but that is common mining tools. They also have a large machine.
Oh, they have a machine. Well, how does it work? How does it work? What manner of machine is it? Is it purely mechanical? Is it arcane and mechanical, or is it fully arcane? What kind of machine is it? I must know.
I believe it was arcane and mechanical, but they could not give me much information. I was very curious myself.
It was able to form that really annoying to deal with shield.
Yes.
And it's
Which was-
because people didn't know.
Yes,
They
it
knew it existed.
It was an ancient machine that predated the miners by quite a bit. They know how to use it in basic form. They're going to get to study it to learn how to use it and repair it and such.
Oh, so perhaps this is a relic of an ancient, more technologically advanced civilization that once was there.
That's what it seems. The mine was closed for quite some time before we helped clear it out.
And he says, "Oh, this is absolutely fascinating." And he turns to the senator and he says, "Senator Gallia, as a representative of the Izzet League Exploratory Commission, I formally request that the Izzet have a seat on the diplomatic envoy that is sent to Innistrad to form relations between our plane and theirs. I think it's essential that the Izzet be involved. Just think of all the wonders we might be able to uncover and how we might be able to help these people." And General Blaze says, "Yes, and Senator, as a member of the Boros Legion leadership, I must insist that the Boros be part of the diplomatic delegation that is sent to Ravnica or to Innistrad to form diplomatic relations with that people and between their plane and ours."
Adamant slowly raises his hand.
And the senator nods to both of them, and she notices you, and she says, "Yes, Adamant."
If I might make a suggestion, I would start with civilians and not make the same kind of entrance you did when you came to our plane. As Eric said, these are these people do not trust easily, and they're very superstitious.
And
if you
General,
find it too heavy-handed, you'll get the opposite effect of what you're looking.
Don't bring anything like griffins there.
Yeah, don't bring anything that was
They claim that griffins are a sacred animal to their god. So if they see you riding one, they might hit you with very much.
Oh, I see. A symbol. Yes, well, Mr. Galibar, once again, you prove to be very observant of cultural norms. So we will have to discuss with you about some of the cultural sensitivities for the working with the Innistrad folk, and of course also with Eric and Elora, as they are natives. But Galibar, you seem to have an ability to look at a situation
as an outsider and see things as that might be easy to misinterpret. Thank you.
Well,
And
I mainly know the things that they got upset at me. So, when I went to go interact with a deer in the woods, they got upset thinking that I upset their guardian deer or whatever it was in their forest that protected the thing, even though it was literally just.
And General Blaze says, "Oh, yes, okay, backwards primitives. Well,
I would not say that they were backwards. That is an unfair assessment.
So as a in comparison to General.
yes,
Do make certain to speak to me before you arrive. At that place, I have some contacts in the area that are useful in getting people accepted. However, only in the small village.
Well, if we can gain the trust of some locals and perhaps if you know anyone there that is connected with a larger organization, you mentioned that they have a predominant religion. If you know anybody who is of the faith that may have connections with clergy in other parts of the plane, perhaps getting to know and win the trust of a local influential clergyman can help us to build relations with other parts of the populace.
I
Well,
would say that is a good direction to take.
Good. Well, I am of course loath to allow anyone to go into a situation without protection, but I understand. I believe I understand your meaning. Instead of going in perhaps fully adorned as a military force that is there to provide protection, if we send in covert operatives that can protect the diplomats that can appear to be part of the diplomatic mission and not stand out as as clearly soldiers. Now, you mentioned before that there are not many elves. What about the other races? Did you interact with many dwarves or gnomes or goblins or other folk?
Mostly.
Yes, over there it is mostly humans.
They looked at me and saw mom.
Oh, they saw a monster, and then
They thought I was a.
Oh dear. Then he kind of looks at Oyohusa and he looks at Adamant and he says, "Well, what did they make of you?"
The same thing people usually make of me, a big man in armor. And something I lean into in situations as such.
With me, it was more drastic. Apparently, I'm not sure in the timeline of their history, but it was an extremely long time ago that the elves went across the sea. So the mere fact that they saw an elf was quite alarming.
Ah, I see. So potentially there are other races in that world, but the landmass that you were on maybe is populated only by humans or mostly by humans. Okay, very well.
Yeah, it's a perfect point. I don't really know much about what that big city is like. As I said, we're from the Underdark. There happen to be a few portals there. More than one in a lifetime, actually. But I only had relations with the Gadstaff village. The bigger city might be a different matter altogether.
Can I make a suggestion for your military presence?
And the general says, well, you seem to speak your mind rather freely, so go ahead.
I would recommend Chindler. He carries himself very well.
Oh, Chandler Duran.
Yes.
Well, he has made quite a positive impression on the leadership of the Legion in his handling of his diplomatic mission with you all on Toril. And they seem to like him well enough in Waterdeep as well. He has made 1 or 2 brief visits there since you all came here to join us in Ravnica.
I did notice the extra stripe.
Oh yes.
DM, did I find out the name of the child I gave the axe to?
The child
Billy?
you gave the axe
I gave.
to. In that village. I think we did give him a name. I would have
Billy?
to go back through the notes. Let's just say it's Billy. Yeah, let's just say it's Billy.
I will. I'll turn to the general, and say, wait, what was the name of the town that I saw him in?
Gatstaff.
Yeah, it was
Gatstaff.
Gatstaff.
Okay, I'll turn to the general and say, in Gatstaff there is a child, by the name of Billy. When we walked through, he saw himself and he seemed to get very close to a place where it could have gotten him killed. I'm worried about him, to be honest. I told him that he would need to get bigger and stronger before came an actual adventurer. But I was thinking, if you guys are going to be going through there, maybe when his mother isn't looking, you could teach him. I gave him a hand axe to defend himself. You guys are officially trained. Maybe you could
And he looks at you, and he smiles and he nods. He says, "Ah, yes, the first member of the Boros Legion in Innistrad, Billy. We will see that he is. Properly trained and commissioned."
he is but a small child. Maybe about the. How old would you say he was? Like 10 or so? Or
Yeah, like somewhere 9 to 11, something like that.
Yeah,
He's old enough to squire. He'll be all right.
That would really depend on his mother. But I don't think he would say no to being to fight as a man. But even if he says no, if you could just properly teach him how to swing that hand axe, I would be very much appreciated.
Well, Ambassador Galibar, for your sake, we will see that little Billy is properly trained in the correct use of the weapon. Thank you very much. You are indeed a credit to your world, as are the rest of you.
Also, I have another thing, and I reach into my new bag of holding, and I pull out my giant freaking great sword that I got from God.
You mean
And-
great
You
axe?
mean great axe?
Yeah,
you mean?
great axe that I got from Strahd, and I put it on the table, and I say, I received this while there, and seems to have belonged previously to another planeswalker, who was a furbolg by the name of uh by the name of Morsalar, or however I pronounce that.
Morsalar, yes.
He was a furbolg. Uh, I was hoping while I was here I could get information further on him to learn more about this weapon. My first guess was to go to the library to search for past planeswalker. Would any of you know if there were another place or a few personal?
And as you're speaking, there's this sound, like little feet scraping on something, and as you look over, you see that the engineer is scrambling out of his chair and up onto the table, and much as he did in Waterdeep when you all were having your first dinner, and he started pontificating about the mysteries of planar travel to you all. And he stands well away from you, Galibar, and you can tell his fingers are like fidgeting, but then he forces his hands behind his back, and grabs his hands a hold of each other, and he says, Mr. Galibar, may I have a closer look at your fine weapon there?
Well, sure. And
Okay.
like he has it on the table, so it's
Okay.
like it's flat on the table.
Okay, so he strides over and he fishes a little headband out of a pocket of his robe and fits it on. And on this headband, there is not exactly a monocle. It's positioned like a monocle, but then it looks like it has an oversized metal disc that can be turned, and every time it's turned, there's like a different lens that goes in front of his eye. And so he walks over and he puts that on, and he goes, and he changes the, and changes some more. Oh, that's very. Oh. And then he looks up and he says, "Oh, Galibar, I think you should take this. You should take this to," and I will tell you where to take it in a moment when I find it in my notes. You should. You should take this to Precinct 3 and see if you can talk to one of the attendants of Vitu Gazi, the World Tree. You might find something interesting from them.
Cool. That's the Lesnia place, right?
Yeah, that's Precinct 3 is the Selesnya place, and the World Tree is called, okay, Tugazi. It is in Precinct 3. All right. So he says, yes, he says, I think they could decipher that for you.
Okay, thank you very much for this. I shall go there whenever I have the time.
Oh, yes. And
And if I recall correctly, Galibar, you have often talked about being at home in nature. Is that correct?
Yes, but their view on nature is different. They think that nature itself is to be defended, and
Yeah, you're cutting
Can't
off
really
again.
check.
You're cutting off again, Chris.
sorry about that. I will just. Their view on nature is that it needs to be protected and it needs to be like kept safe in their area and stuff like that. My view on nature that it's a force that can protect itself and that it is best left untouched. So we did not get along as well as people would think.
Yes, I think if you spend some time in Precinct 3 or in District 3, you will Precinct 3. You will discover that the Celestians have a whole range of views on nature. Some of them which are not terribly dissimilar to your own, especially those who tend the world tree itself. Vitu-Ghazi tends to have its own ideas about what nature should be. All right. So what other you have given them a lot of stuff to think about. Somewhere in the building, a window shade is lowered because of the glare of the sun, and now everything is much nicer. There's a little hum in the background as that happens. What other questions do you have for them, or do you have any questions for them?
Oh, the whole point of things. Adamant reaches into his little compartment and pulls out the box with the crystal.
Oh, okay, yes. And engineer Xander, he claps his hands happily. He says, "Wonderful, wonderful! You found the container of the memory shards. Now, I'm just a little sorry to say, but there's a trick to opening those, and it requires a very special kind of key. And for some reason, we cannot seem to find it. Usually there's a container for those keys. It's like a puzzle box of some kind."
He pulls out the puzzle box.
He says, "Where did you find that?"
I took it from the demons.
And then all three of them just seem to freeze. And Senator Gallia says, "You took it from whom?"
Bazarnak. They were trying to get Lefro to open it, and Lefram was not one to cooperate with demons.
Who is Lefram?
He holds up the shield. This is Lefram. Lefram, this is the bureaucrats.
And in your mind, you hear, but you didn't have to go and introduce me to them. What the hell's wrong with you? I can't talk to them.
Well, I don't look like an idiot talking to a shield now, do I?
Oh, well, I'm sure they probably think you're daft as crackers.
They're quite aware of sentient items.
Oh, well, then why don't you tell them that I believe that they're all stark raving mad, and see what they think of that.
Rather deadpan, he looks at them. Well, Lefram says you're all stark raving mad.
Oh, you didn't actually say it, did you? Oh, my gods. Tell them I apologize. Tell them I was playing a joke on you.
Now he apologizes and says he's playing a joke on me. Apparently, he has not learned that I don't get jokes.
And Engineer Xander is just studying your shield intently. He's just looking at it, and he says, so it communicates with you? It, I presume some sort of telepathy?
Indeed.
Oh, well, you'll have to bring it down to one of the labs so we can study it. And Lefram says, absolutely not! You will not have that gnome poking and prodding and scratching and whatever gnomes do.
I'm going to have to agree with Lefram, and we're going to say that's a solid negative on that.
Lefram turned German there for a second.
And Xander looks, and he looks kind of crestfallen. He says, I so much wanted to be able to play with a wonderful sentient toy. We will respect your wishes, Ambassador. And so now have you been able to open the puzzle box yet?
I have not attempted. We weren't sure what was in it, so they advised that I do it at the guild hall. But if it's supposed to be a key, I can certainly do it here.
He reaches out, and then he thinks better of it, and he says, actually, if it's been in the property, or if it's been in the keeping of demons, it might be best if we do wait until we get to a proper lab to unlock it. And we will keep the box away from the shards until we get it open. And then once we have the key, we will unlock it.
It seems like a solid plan.
Yes. Oh, that's capital. So, and then General Blaze says, Engineer, tell me, are all the shards that you sent, they're all in similar containers like this, right? Oh, yes, of course they are. And does each one have a separate key? And Engineer Xander said, "Oh, no, of course not. They all use this key. The there was only the one key that we made. It was for security reasons. We didn't want any duplicates of the keys. We only wanted one key, and we kept it. We thought we were keeping it safe in the vaults, but apparently not. And then Senator Gallia says, "So you're telling me that you kept the key here in Ravnica?" "Why, yes, of course." And then she looks at the rest of you and she says, "So somehow these demons have access in our plane as well." This is...
Do you have issues with demons here?
And General Blaze, he just kind of pounds his fist on the table. He says, "Bloody Rakdos. Those vermin. I would not put it past them if they were somehow involved in this."
I thought that you had them under control.
And Senator Gallia says, "Oh, they are a very devious lot. And I don't know if you've... Well, you as a Warforged may not have the same weaknesses as purely biological creatures. But the Rakdos do greatly understand the needs of humanoids and how to best manipulate those needs for their own purposes. They are masters of corrupting even people that you would think are incorruptible."
Adamant looks over at Oyo.
And so she says, "Well, we will have to have an investigation." And Engineer Xander says, "Yes, I fully concur. Senator, the Izzet League formally requests that the Azorius Senate open a formal investigation to see if we can find how this puzzle box was liberated, if you will, from the Izzet Vault. We must know who was at fault and how they were compromised." And the senator says, "Very well. Thank you, engineer. I will see that the paperwork gets started on that immediately." And then the three of them look at you. "Is there anything else? I think this was rather more of a report than we were expecting, and certainly it wasn't entirely what we hoped to learn."
As far as I know, he looks at Oyo and the others. That is all we've got for you.
Oh, very well. Well, thank you. Thank you. We have no more need for you now.
Perhaps, if I may.
Yes, Mr. Oyohusa.
I would like to know, where is the next plane that we must go?
I was just about to address that. We have been doing some research, And we have understood the next need that there is. The next need that there is to find a very special lubricant that is required for the drill rig. And this lubricant is known as Tugrit oil. And we are currently trying to locate a source of the raw material for Tugrit oil because it is no longer available in Ravnica itself. We are going over the reports from our planar expeditions to see if we can find a place that might be suitable.
Is there a chance I could get a list of the ingredients?
We will go ahead and see if we can get a list of those available for you. Yes. And
We'd like to be able to replicate it on our in Toril.
Okay, it's very interesting. Well, we will see. And Engineer Xander says, well, I suppose that's possible, but from our spectral analysis of the samples that we have from several places in your world since we have made diplomatic contact, I don't think that the minerals that form the basis of the raw material exist in any kind of significant quantities on your plane. It's a very rare substance indeed.
You definitely should not underestimate the Temple of Moradin and the Temple of Gond. If there's a thing to be fabricated between the two of them.
Okay, well, perhaps a two-pronged approach is in order. Once we locate a source, we can send you to find the information and to see if you can find the source materials, and we can also then work with the temples of Gond and Moradin to see if we can perhaps fabricate a viable alternative. The Tugrit oil is the only lubricant we know that actually will work in the making of the biotic portal scramblers. Because the ethereal maelstrom technology that they are based on is extremely delicate stuff and requires very precise components.
And what would you be doing with this biotic scrambler?
Well, I mean, the biotic scrambler is used in the ethereal maelstrom technology, which weakens and fractures the shield that the Githyanki have erected to protect their base in Toril, the world that your companions come from.
It is to attack the ship upon which Tassinda is.
Yes, it's. We believe it's not so much a ship as a fortified keep or installation of some kind. It appears to be deep in the heart of a remote landmass that is almost quite literally on the other side of the world from where your companions are from.
Back in this plane of Waterdeep.
The plane of Toril, the city of Waterdeep.
Toril.
And he looks at Adamant and he says, "I think I have that right. The plane is Toril, the city is Waterdeep, the continent is Faerun. Is that correct?"
Yes.
Ah, okay. Yes, good. It's so difficult keeping track of all these things. Why doesn't everybody just call the plane by the name of the major source of culture? I mean, you should just call the plane Waterdeep. Like, this plane is Ravnica.
While
That's
Waterdeep
what-
is influential, it's not the only source of culture on our plane.
Indeed, there are much larger cities.
Hmm.
A lot of races have their own cities as well.
Oh. Interesting. Interesting. Well. Okay. Well, was there anything else?
One question. We've still got some things to do in Ravnica. But when can we return home from it?
When can you return home? Well, I suppose if there's a pressing need, you might be able to get a few days to go back, but we were thinking that your leadership in Waterdeep, as well as those of us here working with them, we're very anxious to get the materials so that we can complete this drill rig as quickly as possible.
I see. We are just missing those we care about.
That is understandable.
Galibar holds up his sending stone and shows Adam is like, "That's why I have these."
Oh, Galibar. I don't have one of those. I don't think I'd want the Temple of Gond in my head every day.
And so the senator says, "Well, we will send word to Toril and see if there's perhaps an opportunity for a quick visit."
We would appreciate that.
Very well. And then they say, "Anything else?" And they look at all of you.
Not that I can think of. He looks at the others. Anybody?
So, you three all represent 3 different guilds, is that correct?
And the senator says, "Yes, it's Eric, isn't it?
Eric Galibar Center.
Eric Delapane. My pardon."
Trying to understand. They told me a bit about this guild structure of yours beforehand, but not in any way that I could understand, make heads or tails of it. But, well, as someone from the Underdark and the way their houses are divided, I rather like what I see, what you're doing with the guild.
And you're addressing this specifically to the senator?
It's a senator, but he'll make eye contact with the other ones as he goes. I wish you all success in this.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Eric. We did extend the courtesy when your companions were here before of allowing them to meet with representatives of the different guilds. We can set up the same sort of meetings for you and your. Do I understand that the two of you are siblings? Is that what I am led to believe?
Right. Well done.
Ah,
Good, good. Well, for you and your sister, we can have a formal opportunity for you to meet with representatives of each of the guilds and find a little bit more about them.
Yes, that interested me. Why do you speak to non-native people about your guild? Seeing that you work together.
Well, we see
Go back.
people from your world and from Toril as diplomats working together in common cause. And it is not every off-worlder that visits Ravnica who has the opportunity to speak with that. But for very influential visitors, such as yourselves, who have the potential to shape policy as it affects our relations with entire other planes, we feel it is beneficial to you to know a little bit more about each of our guilds from their own perspective.
Meaning that Ravnica seeks harmony with the other planes as well as within itself.
Why, yes, you could say that. We look for a harmonious and equitable and prosperous and flourishing relationship with as many planes as possible. After all, that allows for so many good things. It allows for better trade, allows for better diplomacy, allows for a better exchange of cultural and intellectual and arcane ideas. It is far better that we can be at peace with those around us than be in conflict with them.
Decent cooperation, such as you discussed here today. Is this what Jacinda was doing for you?
Oh, so you know of Jacinda Verlassen?
Yes, Jacinda was a instructor of mine, actually. She's from Ravnica originally. Instrad originally. No, I'm getting confused with it.
Yes, she was. Well, she was here. She was sort of an accidental tourist here when she first arrived, but she became very enthralled with work that, as it happens, dealt with matters of justice and law, and so she sought out our assistance in the Azoria Senate and the assistance of the Boros Legion, and she was a very powerful practitioner of the arcane arts. So of course she became made great friendships within the Izzet League, and together we worked on many things, and she was responsible for helping us innovate many new procedures that we have in place. And unfortunately, as a byproduct of those innovations, we, well, I suppose in the end it's fortunate because we now have some foreknowledge of dire events to come, but it is difficult to say whether her work set us on this path or whether this was a path that would have happened in any case and we just know about it because of her work. Oh, but it's very complicated. Very complicated.
And is that why you three are you three? Because you are all friends of Jacinda.
And
And the senator sits back and she taps her chin thoughtfully and she looks at the general, and the general kind of shrugs as though he hadn't given it much thought before. And then she looks at the engineer, and he is deeply lost in thought. But then his eyes meet her, and he gazes at her for a long moment, and then finally he nods slowly, and he says, "Perhaps, Mr. Delapane, perhaps that is the reason we have risen to our station. Perhaps there is something about Tisenda that has woven our paths together in a way that they might not have had she not come here. That's
I know the
very,
feeling.
very interesting. And you and your sister, having had contact with her, have been swept up in what is going on with these ambassadors from Toril who were also personally acquainted with her. That is tremendous to know."
Well, Galibar says, well, I personally never met her.
No, but you were drawn into this orbit because of your association with the other ambassadors here.
So we have here a senator. Means you're a person of position and stature, but you have people above you. A general. I'm not sure if you have people above you. And what did you say your position was?
I am Arcanum Engineer. Yes, I am I oversee an area of research within the Izzet League that has to do with arcane off-world discoveries. Basically, magics that are introduced to Ravnica by those that come from other planes. That's our area of specialty that my department works in.
So you have a department. So again, like the senator, a person of authority, but not the top of.
And General Blaze, he nods. He says, "Oh, well, yes." He says, "I am not the supreme commander of the Boros Legion. I have many star generals above me. I am merely a humble 2-star general. I report to a 3-star general who reports to a 4-star general who reports to a 5-star general who reports to a battalion commander."
Wow. I didn't realize how vast your army was. So that's the point then. It was you three, but it could have been everybody. And yes, that's exactly how it is.
Galibar will ask, how high up was that Minotaur guy we fought?
Okay, out of character, you're thinking about the ones that you sparred with in.
Yes.
Okay, you'll toss out a name, and say, the name is not familiar. What? Where did you say you encountered him?
We sparred as to show our level of strength. Where was it we fought them or sparred with them?
It was at one of the military installations in the in this precinct or the precinct next door.
I'll tell him that.
Okay. He says, "Oh, well, that sounds like probably the commander of the installation. Yeah, essentially, he's a good man, but a sort of a what you might say a manager of a single location in a franchise organization. So yes, not terribly high, but do not underestimate. They have a very important role, which is to prepare new recruits and get them out on the front lines. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Because we're getting close to time.
I've got nothing.
I'm guessing we'll do the life tree stuff next, or the world tree stuff next.
So they said that they didn't know exactly for sure yet which plane they were going to send us to.
Correct. They know what material they need you to collect, but they are not ready to brief you on your next destination because
Did they say how that oil was, how it was extracted? Like what
No.
source? Oh, okay.
they didn't. They'll probably give you all that information when they have their formal briefing with you. It's almost as if they are giving you time to take care of some of the things that you all want and need to take care of while you're here before they get you started on your next
Yes.
Adventure.
Yes. Oyo has kindly reminded me of a weapon that's in Ravnica that would fit Adamant very well.
All right. So, if there is nothing else, then I think this is a good place to wrap up. We will get going next time. There's a couple of things Adamant needs to do. I know there's another thing Oyohusa is wanting to do. There's a couple of things that Galibar will want to do. And what I am going to send you, I don't know whether I sent the whole thing before, but there's a long section of information I prepared the first time the party came here about the different guilds. I think I sent Vernon and Ivy a portion of that. I'll just go ahead and send the whole document to them, and basically that will substitute for you guys having to sit through the same kind of boring meetings that the rest of the party sat through as an entire group the first time they were here. When they were here, it was an opportunity for them to do some RP as a group with the different guilds, but it would just feel a little bit like overkill to do that same thing all over again with you guys. So, and then you can ask any questions and maybe we can summarize what you learned from your meetings. So that, and then if anything jumps out at you, we can maybe run through some meetings with a specific guild that strikes your fancy. All right. Well, I want to thank all those of you who are on the stream today for coming and joining us. We are here every Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We generally have a lot of fun going through. Sometimes the sessions turn out to be a lot of RP like this one, and sometimes they turn out to be a lot of combat like a couple of sessions ago, where we essentially spent the entire session in a single fight.
It was 2 weeks, not just It was
So yeah. So when we say we do a lot of rolling here, we do a lot of ROLL rolling and ROLE role playing. So we get both kinds of roles here. All right. Does anybody have any announcements or anything for chat before I send them off to Frog Pants?
No.
Okay. Well, as we do every week, I am going to go ahead and raid Frog Pants. They are gearing up starting at 6 p.m. Eastern to do their weekly D&D game that is set in kind of a Mad Max universe. So it's different than this game. And I think you guys will find that it's a lot of fun. All right. Thank you so much, Snivy, Turbo, Drats, and everybody who has been in the chats. We really appreciate you for being here. Yes, please let your friends know if you enjoy this game. And also, you'll find you can look for DM Galibar on YouTube, and you'll find the archives of all the stuff we're doing, and gradually the archives of the show are going up. We have them all recorded starting with episode 20. Episodes 1 through 19 were not recorded, but starting with session 20, they're all recorded, so you can go back and catch up on all of what's happened with this party since they were level 4. All right, everyone. Take care. Have a great week. And we are about to raid Frog Pants. Okay. 5, 6. All right. Viewers ready to raid Frog Pants in 3, 2, 1. Now. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. And okay, we are there. All right, we are now raiding with a party of 6. All right.